Hi, good afternoon. So I have a gentleman by the name of David Linus, and he is a trainer coach for IELTS, and I would like to invite him over to my podcast and being an influence getting to know him. I would like to share, let him get to share his experience as to how he began his journey in terms of the business that he's running. David, first let me welcome you to this podcast, and I would like you to give a brief introduction of yourself, introducing what is it that you do, when did you start this journey, and as we progress, I would probably be going more depth into whatever needs to be discussed. Thank you so much. Go ahead, David.
All right. Good afternoon, Shivu. Thank you so much for inviting me over to your podcast. I'm extremely honored and privileged that you chose me among others. And I'll try my best to share as much as I can in this time that we have together. And I'll try and start from where I began. So I wasn't sure that I wasn't sure that I'd be entering into the commercial training and coaching industry when I first started out in Calcutta, but there was a vocational job that I had taken up with a retired president of the Bar Association of Calcutta, where I was to go and read the newspapers for him for 2 hours every day. The gentleman was my guiding star, my inspiration. Moreover, I always considered him my mentor and coach at that point in time, because he literally introduced me into the world of English and the sophistication that goes around with knowing the English language as good as one should know it. So 3 years of reading the newspaper to him developed 3 particular things in me, and these 3 particular things were highlighted by the Honorable Samir Ganguly. He said that every human aspires for these 3 particular things, and the first is mastery. It could be mastery over anything. It could be mastery over blacksmithy. It could be mastery over carpentry. It could be mastery over assembling computers. It could be mastery over anything. The second thing that human beings aspire for is autonomy. To be able to be given the freedom to develop your mastery. And the third is knowledge. And this is something that he really inspired me to learn and to keep close to my heart, is that no university, no college, no degree, nothing can really enrich you unless if you don't have the heart to seek knowledge. So I graduated with a commerce with commerce subjects, hoping that I would enter into the industry as a commerce graduate, but my heart was with English. I went to Kathmandu after Calcutta, and I taught English there for about a year. Then I came to Delhi, and I joined an IT company without even the slightest knowledge of computers, only because I was a good speaker. I spent about 7 or 8 years in the IT industry only because I was a good speaker, and I was able to negotiate my communication and conversations because of the way I spoke, and the mastery, the autonomy, and the knowledge that I gathered over those years. Till one day I decided that I needed to get back to what I really like doing, and that's teaching or helping people with their English language skills, and moreover, helping and assisting those people who are looking for brighter and bigger horizons across the pond, in Canada, in the UK, Australia, New Zealand. And the only way for them to get across the pond is to be able to speak English and be proficient in the English language, because there's an international English language testing system that evaluates their proficiency in English and then enables them to, or rather qualifies them against a certain band level, which allows them the opportunity to apply and then go across for either immigration or for higher studies. So if I, like I said, it all started back then. If I were to sum it up and put it down into 3 words, you can be whoever you want to be, which in any field, any subject. But I think these 3 things are very important to any human being: the ability to master your craft, the autonomy to do your craft or to do what you like to do, and the knowledge that you must acquire over the years and over time and over your engagements, interactions, experiences, that will get you to a place where you can be able to assist and enable other people to achieve what they want to achieve, based on the experiences that you have and the experiences that they can leverage, so that they get to where they want to be.
Thank you, David. I think that was a very good summary in terms of what you have achieved and what is your mission or your goal in terms of the business that you're running. And I kind of resonate with what you're doing, because I too began my career as a teacher and later on ventured out into the IT field as a passionate drive. But then, of course, lack of security in terms of the IT field got me back into teaching, for which I don't regret it. And I kind of like teaching, and I think I also resonate with you, teaching people the communicative skills, which I do at the same time here in school. However, just a question out here, and that is, what is the kind of the target audience that you normally come across? By that I mean to say, is it the ones that are absolutely having no English language, or maybe they have, but their communicative skills are very, very weak? Or is it that they are already having a decent communicative skills, but they're just looking to see that they need to go over to the next fence, and that is cross the IELTS exams to complete it? So is that the target audience, and how do you go about with that?
Okay. So I I address the needs. I address the needs of those people wanting to better the English skills across the spectrum. So I get people, who are, so in our terminology, we have 6 levels that have been prescribed by the CEFR, which is the Common European Framework Reference for Languages. And each language that comes under the CEFR guideline or the agenda have been calibrated against 6 levels. So a beginner would fall in the A1, A2, an intermediate would fall in the B1, B2, and an advanced learner of the language, of any language, it could be English, French, Spanish, German, they would fall, sorry, did I touch my nose? Sorry. They would fall in the C1 and C2. So I get people who've never had any exposure to English, so they would naturally fall below the A1 level. So they're absolute beginners, and for that we have I know most teachers across the world have have deliberately created another bracket, which is known as A0. So it's A0 is the bracket that is created for children, or for anybody, for an adult as well, who has no exposure to English at all. So that's the spectrum of learners that I get, and they are children, they are young adults, and even adults. Now, people who have the intention of taking their IELTS test would normally fall in the B2, C1, and C2 levels of the English language. So if somebody's at a B2, he would be calibrated. He would be calibrated, or at least he would have the proficiency to score a band 5 or a band 5.5 on the IELTS paper. Somebody who's at a C1 would probably be between a 6.5 and around a 7, or a little, probably slightly higher than that. And somebody who's at a C2 would fall between a band level between 8 and 9. So there's a spectrum. This is the entire spectrum that I address. And like I said, I get people who have absolutely no exposure to English, who've never learned ABCD. And then I have people who are absolutely proficient based on their regional abilities or their regional exposure to the English language. And with the infrastructure that's developed for the language with respect to their vernacular or their regional settings. So there's a lot of Indianism that plays out in English in India. So a lot of correction, or what we'd say in our language is grammatical accuracy needs to be addressed, and structural accuracy, and that makes them far more proficient than they already are.
So thanks for summing up that. But just a couple of questions on what you just told me. One is, what is the duration period that one has to complete in order to, be professionally challenged to meet up with the test, number one. Number two is, when you're talking about the band level, right? So is it that your focus, is it mainly on what type of people, audience are you getting? Are you getting audience that are student related who are actually wanting to go to US or Canada or European countries for their studies, and for that reason they need to qualify for it? Or is it that you get the mixed breed of those who are wanting to have a permanent immigration? And if at all, I'm sure you maybe have people to attend your program for that. And what is the ratio? How many actually are students related compared to those who are permanent immigration that are wanting to join your institute and actually qualify to, complete the IELTS? That's number one. Number two, as I said, the duration period, how long does it take? And one, which is a very burning question, is how do you reach out to your audience? Is it that through a website, or is it you go to Facebook to reach out to your audience, or is it through mouth-to-mouth communication? How do you get your audience? How do you target?
All right. So, like I said, there are two distinct categories of learners that I get. One is those people who want to learn English and become proficient speakers in the English language. And the second is that you already have people who are proficient and they want to either migrate for, or they want to migrate for work and occupation, which means they want to immigrate to. One second, Shibu. One second.
No problem. No problem.
Okay, so sorry about that. Yeah, I had a slight interruption.
No issues.
Oh, damn, why am I touching? I'm slightly. I just got
It's basically
slightly.
the
But anyway,
basic in terms
yeah.
of.
So like I said, two distinct categories of people. One that are coming to learn English and become proficient in the English language and become better speakers in the English language. The second category are those people who are proficient and are looking to migrate for either higher studies or for work and living. Now, the age category for those people who are looking to speak English, it doesn't really matter. They are anywhere between the ages of 15, 16, right up till 40, 50, and even 60. their main aim is to become better English speakers or become better learners of the English language. The second category of people who want to sit or take their IELTS test, go abroad, go overseas, range again between the ages of 18 and 40. Now, those that are between 18 and 25 are normally those people who've just graduated out of high school, or they've graduated out of undergraduate colleges here in India, and they want to go abroad, they want to go overseas for an undergraduate program or a postgraduate program. Those people who are between 25 and 40 are those people who are already graduates or postgraduates in India, have been working for about 4 or 5 years, and they want to migrate. So they want to immigrate to places like Canada and Australia. Now, some years back, Australia was very popular for immigrants, but Australia's tightened up, and so their English proficiency level requirements are extremely high. They need a band 8 across all the bands. So they need a band 8 in listening, reading, writing, and speaking. But Canada is more welcoming right now. Canada is the hot destination for skilled or highly skilled migration, and they've capped their English proficiency levels at 8.777, which means that you need an 8 in listening and you need a 777 in reading, writing, and speaking, which is quite comfortably achievable considering the proficiency levels that people have in India. Now, the two bands that they're challenged with most people in India are speaking and writing, and whereas reading and listening, people are quite proficient, and they get through easily. But they always get stuck in speaking and writing, and 95% of people get stuck with writing because, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of Indianism in the way we approach writing, and syntax, structure, coherence, cohesion. So all these things, grammatical accuracy, range of tenses, etc., are slightly poorer. Is slightly poorer, yeah, than the standards required by the IELTS examiners, and that's why most people do not score more than So there's a slight distraction. You have to just bear with that. Yeah? Score more than 6 or 6.5 in writing, and they've got to retake the IELTS because of their poor writing skills.
So, David, can you let me know what is the duration period? I mean, how long do you normally take for someone to attend?
So it's all based on preparation. Like I said, I mean, it could take. So each learner has a varying capacity or a capability for coming up the learning curve. Now, some are prepared within 6 weeks and 8 weeks, and some it could even take up to about 12 weeks, and for some it could even go up as high as 24 weeks and 30 weeks.
So yes, I also did take up the IELTS, and I had scored a band of, I think, 7. It was my toughest challenge was, I think, the reading section, because I never really scored high in that. But when it came to speaking, I think I gained most of my points of that. Now, my next question is, how do you reach out to the audience, for them to know your institution and for them to actually come and approach you? Is it, do you go through Facebook ads or Google ads? I mean, is it a paid sort of targeting audience that you have, or is it organic sort of a search?
Mine is well, predominantly my approach is predominantly organic, which means I have very little regard for online or digital marketing. So I tend not to use that particular channel for my publicity. I normally go the organic way. So I have a lot of forums that I visit and I participate in, and I go and make presentations on the need, the abilities, the opportunities with English language, and so I give people a very realistic picture on what is possible and what can be possible and what is achievable and what can be achieved. So based on
So
that,
apart from your forums that you do, so how do you go about reaching to them and conducting? Is it that you have any sort of short snippets of videos uploaded in YouTube so that they
yeah,
can,
yeah, yeah.
go through it and then probably get to know you better, or is there any other
I
particular?
I don't have much. I don't have much videos and stuff like that. I was looking into developing. I was looking into developing some stock for stock videos, yeah, and footages for reaching out to people, or using that as a first level of introduction of my abilities and what I offer, which I am in the process of creating. But most of my business comes through referrals, through recommendations and references, and like I said, these forums that I visit. So I spend about 80% of my time visiting community forums. So in person. So these are physical forums, or they could also be they could also sometimes be online, like the way we are conducting an interview right now over Zoom, where I am invited to speak about the challenges and opportunities around the English language, and the challenges and opportunities around taking the IELTS test.
Okay, I
Teaching,
understand. I get.
teaching is a very personality and ability driven industry. So if you convey or come up with the right personality, and you have the knowledge to demonstrate that personality and that ability, you automatically are regarded as an authority over the subject. And once you are regarded as an authority over the subject, the chances of your business growing is far more likely than not.
Have you not given it a try, or have you not thought of other channels? Like, as I said, Facebook is now one of the upcoming events where you can reach out to a larger audience, and let them know what exactly you're doing. You could also share your website as well as your YouTube tutorials. You could also try out Google Ads. I mean, believe me, if you actually do that, you'll get 10x of target audience that you could probably be reaching out to. And I'm sure more people will get to know you a lot better if you actually give that a try. Since I thought that was one of the channels that you were actually working upon. I'm pretty surprised to know that that isn't one of your main methods, but I think if you try coming up with that, you see that there will be a big difference. However, nevertheless, I mean, whatever I got to know about your work that you've been doing it, I think it has been very beneficial to a lot of students of yours. I'm sure many of you would probably be reaching back to you and thanking you, and probably recommending you to others that are there. Now, just before we wind up, I just wanted to ask you, is there any sort of an advice you would like to share to others who would probably be looking and venturing out in the same sort of a journey that you are going into in that footpath, where they want to be coaches, they want to be communication or public speakers, maybe they want to set up an institution. What would be your advice to them? What would be the challenges? How you see that they should start off? Is there anything that you would like to give to your audience?
Um, I would say go back to old school methods and approaches. You want to get good at a subject, or you want to become an authority over a subject, take it up and start teaching it. You don't start teaching it from level 10. You can start level 1. Start teaching level 1, become proficient in that, become a master in that, and move to level 2. And then over time and over years, you'll eventually get to about level 8, level 9, level 10, depending on your focus, your commitment, your dedication, and your consistency. So If these things are in place, you automatically graduate and reach the highest level of any subject or art or any craft. So that's one way, old school method. The second is, if it is something that interests you, definitely go in for it. It's definitely, communication is the key. Everyone around across the world says it, say it, and it definitely gives a person, especially it's given me an opportunity to meet with a wide variety of people across industries, across sectors, across skill levels, and I made some great friends. I met some great people. So, but that in itself is not going to help unless, like I said, the three things that I believe in. You have to have the the you have to have that passion from the inside for one particular thing, and that one particular thing should be everything about who you want to be. So I chose English, and I chose things around English, and I have that, and I keep that as my passion. The only passion that burns my fuel, burns or fuels my need or my hope for the next day is my hunger for attaining that extra mastery, that extra autonomy, and that extra knowledge that I can acquire for myself, which I eventually can share with people that I come into contact with.
Okay. And yeah, before we close up, David, thanks a lot so much for spending your time, and doing this interview with me.
Right.
Okay. But before we round up, I was just looking at your website that you showed me, and I found that it's a very good website that's been created. It would have a lot of reach to many of the targets that are there.
Right.
Just to have a curiosity, just for others to get to know, if in case they would like to join up in your institution, what are the charges that you would normally begin with? I mean, if it's let's say for a person who's a beginner, as a student, how much would you charge him? And or is it, if it's like, do you have a different grading for people based on the duration that you teach? If you would like to share that, I think that would be awesome, because this would be probably be reaching out to a lot of people that would also like to go through your institute. And what is the success rate that you have achieved so far over your students in terms of them crossing the IELTS and getting to the other side? And those that have not got through, how many attempts have you had they been coming back to you? Is it maybe one attempt or maybe two attempts, or do you first sort of analyze them through the IELTS and
Hello? Yeah, Shibu, are you there? Oh, sorry, I lost you there.
yeah, I'm here. I can't see you.
Now, can you see me now?
Yeah,
Okay, I can't see you.
you can't see me. I can see you perfectly.
Okay, yeah, okay, you're back. I can see you now, yeah. Sorry, yeah, I got bumped off and I'm bumped back in. So,
Okay. So you can just record that and go ahead with the answer.
yeah, so all
If you
right.
want me to repeat.
No, okay, I got your question. Like I said, I mean, I'm going to be very honest out here. There's really no marketing ploy or
Okay.
any
Are you recording? Sorry to interrupt. Are you
yeah,
recording?
yeah, absolutely, it is recording.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
So,
Because your picture's looking paused.
okay, it's probably because of the internet.
Okay, yeah.
It's all right.
Right.
So I'm going to be very honest here. I mean, there's really, like I said, no time limit on how much time it would be before somebody gets past the IELTS requirement.
Yeah, David, go ahead. Now I can see.
Okay. So I think I'm getting bumped off and it's coming back on. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Leave it like that. That's okay.
So yeah. Well, the average for test takers has been such that about 8 or 10% get get past the IELTS requirement in their first attempt, and then we have about 20 or 25% that get past the IELTS requirement in the second attempt, and then the next 45 to 50 that get past their IELTS requirement in their third attempt. Now, this is for the IELTS general training. So there are two kinds, excuse me, there are two types of IELTS tests that they conduct. One is the general training and one is the academic. So the general training is for those people looking to migrate for occupation or for living abroad. And the academic is for those people looking to migrate for higher studies. So the one I gave you for, the one I told you for, the 10%, 25 to 30%, and then 45 to 50%, that's for the general training. Now, on the academic side, we normally have about 60 or 70% that clear it in their first attempt, because the academic IELTS band score requirements are slightly lower than the general training requirements. And of course, that also differs from university to university, but 60 to 70% clear it in their first attempt, and the rest probably get. And the rest get through in their second attempt, and the ones that are left behind, of course, they get passed in their third attempt. And those that can't are really those people that need that extra attention in English, and they are the ones that have to develop their English proficiency so that they reach, or they come up to that level where they can clear or get past their IELTS requirements. So that's how it presently stands. But it's not a very difficult test to take, but at the same time, it's not that easy as well, because preparation is the key. Knowing how to approach the IELTS is again, a very important aspect of taking the IELTS test. So the various combinations, required to get past the IELTS test. After all, it's a proficiency level test, and you have to be extremely smart to tackle it.
Thank you so much, David, for that information. I said it's an awesome sort of an interview with you. I think a lot of our audience would get to know exactly what it's all about, the back-end stage in terms of guiding care,
Right.
what are the criteria that are required. I
Right.
think you have given us in brief terms of what needs to be, how to go about preparing it. I think that's awesome. I thought if you could just probably, yeah, good. I think you shared your screen. Can you probably just share your website so that others could probably just see it? Or if you allow me to, if you can share your screen, allow me to share it, I can put it up from here. I
Yeah.
think you have shared me one